The facade of perfection shattered the moment Evelyn stepped into their apartment, her eyes locking onto Jerry's phone on the bedside table. She had been with Jerry for 3 years, and everything had seemed flawless. Their cozy apartment, successful jobs, and endless adventures in the city. But now, a single text message changed everything. Evelyn had come home early from work, feeling unwell, and the silence in the apartment was oppressive. She called out to Jerry, but there was no response. She dropped her bag on the floor and headed to the bedroom to change. The phone on the bedside table buzzed with an incoming text message, and Evelyn's gaze was drawn to the screen. The message read, "Can't wait to see you tonight. Missing you." Evelyn's mind began racing as she tried to process the message. Who was sending these messages to Jerry? She picked up the phone to read more messages, her anxiety growing with each passing second. The conversation seemed innocent enough, but the words "my love" and "can't wait" sent a chill down her spine. Evelyn's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of the front door opening. Jerry walked in, smiling, and Evelyn's instincts told her to hide her discovery. "Hey, you're home early," Jerry said, giving her a kiss on the cheek. Evelyn forced a smile, trying not to reveal her growing unease. "Yeah, I wasn't feeling well," she replied, watching Jerry's every move. Jerry seemed normal, but Evelyn couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. "How was your day?" Evelyn asked, trying to sound casual. Jerry began telling her about his meeting, and Evelyn listened intently, her mind still on the text message. She knew she had to find out who was sending these messages and what was going on. But for now, she played along, pretending everything was fine. As Jerry continued talking, Evelyn's eyes drifted back to the phone, and she wondered what other secrets it might hold. As Jerry continued to talk about his meeting, Evelyn's mind wandered back to the text message. She couldn't shake off the feeling that Jerry was hiding something from her. She tried to focus on his words, but her eyes kept drifting back to the phone. Jerry noticed her distant gaze and asked if everything was okay. Evelyn quickly snapped back to reality and replied that she was just tired. Jerry seemed to buy her explanation and continued talking about his day. Evelyn listened half-heartedly, her mind racing with questions. Who was sending these messages to Jerry? Was he cheating on her? She felt a knot in her stomach as she thought about the possibility. As Jerry finished his story, he asked Evelyn if she wanted to order dinner or cook something. Evelyn suggested ordering dinner, hoping that the distraction would take her mind off the text message. Jerry agreed and started browsing through food delivery apps on his phone. Evelyn watched him, wondering if she would see any other suspicious messages. As Jerry ordered dinner, Evelyn's eyes scanned the room, looking for any other signs of something being off. She noticed Jerry's laptop on the coffee table and felt a sudden urge to check his emails or browsing history, but she hesitated, feeling like she would be crossing a line. Jerry finished ordering dinner and put his phone down. "We'll get dinner delivered in about 30 minutes, he said, smiling at Evelyn. Evelyn forced a smile back, feeling like she was living a lie. She knew she had to find out what was going on, but she didn't know where to start. As they waited for dinner, Evelyn's anxiety grew and she couldn't help but wonder what other secrets Jerry might be hiding. Dinner arrived and Evelyn forced herself to eat, trying to appear normal. Jerry seemed oblivious to her concerns, chatting about his day and his plans for the weekend. Evelyn listened, pretending to be interested, but her mind was elsewhere. As they finished dinner, Jerry got up to clear the table. Evelyn watched him, noticing how carefree he seemed. Did he really have nothing to hide, or was she just not seeing it? As Jerry started washing the dishes, Evelyn decided she couldn't wait any longer. She needed to know who was sending those messages. She got up and walked over to Jerry, trying to sound casual. "Hey, can I ask you something?" she said, trying to gauge his reaction. Jerry looked at her, curious. "What's up?" he asked, rinsing off a plate. Evelyn hesitated, unsure how to phrase her question. I saw your phone earlier, and I saw a text message from someone," she said, trying to sound nonchalant. Jerry's expression didn't change, but Evelyn noticed a slight pause in his movements. "Oh yeah?" he said, continuing to wash the dishes. "Who was it from?" Evelyn asked, trying to keep her tone light. Jerry shrugged. "Just a friend from work, nothing important." Evelyn felt a pang of doubt. Was he telling the truth, or was he just covering something up? She decided to press on, trying to get to the bottom of things. "What's your friend's name?" she asked, watching Jerry's reaction closely. Jerry's expression remained calm, but Evelyn detected a hint of wariness in his eyes. "Why do you want to know?" he asked, his tone slightly guarded. Evelyn's heart began to pound as she realized she might be onto something. I'm curious," she said, trying to sound innocent. Jerry's eyes narrowed slightly, and he turned back to washing the dishes. "Her name is Sophia," he said, his voice neutral. Evelyn's mind began racing as she processed the information. Sophia? Who was she? And what was her relationship with Jerry? Evelyn's instincts told her that Sophia was more than just a friend, but she didn't know what to do next. Evelyn's mind was reeling with questions about Sophia. Who was she? How did she know Jerry, and what was the nature of their relationship? Evelyn tried to keep her cool, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that Jerry was hiding something from her. As Jerry finished washing the dishes, he turned to Evelyn and asked if she wanted to watch a movie. Evelyn agreed, trying to appear normal, but her mind was still racing with questions about Sophia. As they sat down on the couch, Jerry picked up the remote control and started browsing through the movie options. Evelyn watched him, trying to read his expression. Was he nervous? Guilty? Or was she just being paranoid? As they started watching the movie, Evelyn's phone buzzed with a text message from her friend Rachel. Evelyn excused herself to respond to the message, but really, she was searching for Sophia's name on social media. She typed Sophia's name into the search bar, and several profiles popped up. Evelyn's heart skipped a beat as she scrolled through the profiles, looking for any connection to Jerry. After a few minutes of searching, Evelyn found a profile that caught her attention. It was a woman with a familiar face, Sophia. Evelyn's eyes widened as she read through Sophia's profile. She was a colleague of Jerry's, and they seemed to have a lot in common. But what really caught Evelyn's attention was the affectionate comments Sophia had left on Jerry's posts. Evelyn's mind was racing with questions. Was Sophia the one sending those text messages to Jerry? And what was the nature of their relationship? She felt a knot in her stomach as she realized she might have stumbled upon something big. As she continued to scroll through Sophia's profile, Evelyn heard Jerry calling out to her from the couch. "Hey, are you okay? You've been on your phone for a while?" he said, his voice laced with concern. Evelyn quickly composed herself, trying not to arouse Jerry's suspicion. "Yeah, I'm fine, just responding to Rachel's message," she replied, putting her phone down. But her mind was still reeling with questions about Sophia and Jerry's relationship. As the movie continued to play in the background, Evelyn's mind was preoccupied with thoughts of Sophia. She couldn't shake off the feeling that Jerry was hiding something from her. She tried to focus on the movie, but her eyes kept drifting towards Jerry, searching for any signs of guilt or nervousness. As the credits rolled, Jerry turned to Evelyn and asked if she enjoyed the movie. Evelyn forced a smile and replied that it was okay. Jerry seemed to sense that something was bothering her and asked if everything was all right. Evelyn hesitated, unsure of how to bring up the topic of Sophia. "Can we talk about something?" Evelyn asked, trying to sound casual. "Of course. What's up?" Jerry replied, putting down the remote control. Evelyn took a deep breath and decided to confront Jerry about Sophia. "I saw your posts with Sophia's comments. You two seem close," she said, trying to gauge Jerry's reaction. Jerry's expression changed slightly, and he seemed to pause for a moment before responding. "Oh yeah, Sophia's just a colleague. We've worked on a few projects together," he said, trying to downplay the situation. Evelyn wasn't convinced. She had seen the affectionate comments Sophia had left on Jerry's posts, and she couldn't help but wonder if there was something more between them. "Just a colleague?" Evelyn repeated, raising an eyebrow. Jerry's eyes locked onto hers, and for a moment, Evelyn thought she saw a flicker of guilt. But then his expression changed, and he smiled. "Yeah, just a colleague. Why? Are you jealous?" he asked, trying to lighten the mood. Evelyn's heart was racing as she tried to process Jerry's response. Was he telling the truth, or was he just hiding something from her? She didn't know what to believe, but she knew she had to find out more about Sophia and Jerry's relationship. The tension between Evelyn and Jerry was palpable as they went to bed that night. Evelyn couldn't shake off the feeling that Jerry was hiding something from her, and she couldn't help but wonder if Sophia was more than just a colleague. As she lay in bed, Evelyn's mind was racing with questions and doubts. She felt like she was losing grip on her relationship with Jerry, and she didn't know how to stop it. The next morning, Evelyn woke up. Early days were always chaotic, but today was different. She had a feeling of unease that she couldn't shake off. As she got dressed for work, she couldn't help but think about Jerry and Sophia. When Jerry woke up, Evelyn tried to act normal, but she couldn't meet his eyes. She felt like she was walking on eggshells, unsure of what the day would bring. As they had breakfast, Jerry seemed normal, but Evelyn noticed that he was quieter than usual. She wondered if he was feeling guilty about something, or if he was just tired. "I'll see you tonight," Jerry said, giving Evelyn a kiss on the cheek before heading out the door. Evelyn watched him leave, feeling a mix of emotions. She was determined to get to the bottom of things, but she was also scared of what she might find out. As she finished getting ready for work, Evelyn's phone buzzed with a text message from Rachel. "Hey, what's up?" Rachel asked. Evelyn hesitated for a moment before responding. "I need to talk to you about something. Can we meet up for lunch?" she asked, feeling a sense of relief at having someone to confide in. "Sure. What's going on?" Rachel replied, sensing that something was wrong. Evelyn took a deep breath before responding. "It's about Jerry. I think he might be hiding something from me," she said, feeling a sense of trepidation. "I'll meet you at lunch and we can talk about it," Rachel replied, offering words of comfort. Evelyn felt a sense of gratitude towards Rachel. She knew she could count on her friend to listen and offer advice. As she headed out the door, Evelyn felt a sense of determination. She was going to get to the bottom of things, no matter what it took. Evelyn met Rachel at a quiet cafe for lunch. As soon as they sat down, Evelyn began to tell Rachel about her suspicions regarding Jerry and Sophia. "I don't know what's going on, but I feel like Jerry is hiding something from me," Evelyn said, her voice barely above a whisper. Rachel listened attentively, her expression concerned. "What makes you think that?" she asked, taking a sip of her coffee. Evelyn filled Rachel in on the text message she had seen, as well as the affectionate comments Sophia had left on Jerry's posts. Rachel's eyes widened as she listened, and she nodded thoughtfully. "That does sound suspicious," Rachel said, her voice low. "But maybe you're just being paranoid. Maybe there's a perfectly innocent explanation." Evelyn shook her head. "I don't know, Rachel. I just have a feeling that something's off. And I don't know how to bring it up with Jerry without sounding crazy." Rachel nodded understandingly. "Well, maybe you should try to gather more information before confronting him. Do some digging, you know?" Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "What kind of digging?" Rachel leaned in, her voice barely above a whisper. "Well, you could try looking at Jerry's phone or computer. See if you can find any evidence of him communicating with Sophia in a way that's not just professional." Evelyn's heart skipped a beat at the suggestion. She hadn't thought of that. But was she really willing to snoop on Jerry's private communications? As she pondered this question, Evelyn's phone buzzed with a text message from Jerry. "Hey, just checking in, love you," he said. Evelyn felt a pang of guilt, but also a sense of determination. She was going to get to the bottom of things no matter what it took. Evelyn's mind was racing as she finished her lunch with Rachel. She knew she had to be careful, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that Jerry was hiding something from her. As she walked back to work, Evelyn couldn't help but think about the possibilities. Was Jerry having an affair with Sophia? And if so, how long had it been going on? When she got back to the office, Evelyn tried to focus on her work, but her mind kept wandering back to Jerry and Sophia. She felt like she was living in a state of uncertainty, and she didn't know how to escape it. As the day went on, Evelyn found herself glancing at her phone, hoping that Jerry would text her again. But when her phone finally buzzed, it was a message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Sophia. I think we need to talk," the message read. Evelyn's heart skipped a beat as she stared at the message. How did Sophia get her number? And what did she want to talk about? Evelyn's mind was racing with questions and doubts. She didn't know what to do, but she knew she had to respond. "What do you want to talk about?" Evelyn replied, her hands shaking slightly as she typed out the message. There was a pause, and then Sophia responded. "I think it's better if we talk in person. Can we meet up somewhere?" Evelyn's heart was racing as she considered Sophia's request. She didn't know what to expect. but she knew she had to meet Sophia and find out what was going on. Evelyn's hands trembled as she typed out her response to Sophia. She agreed to meet Sophia at a coffee shop in the city, her mind filled with questions and doubts. As she arrived at the coffee shop, Evelyn spotted Sophia sitting at a table in the corner. Sophia looked up and caught Evelyn's eye, her expression neutral. Evelyn took a deep breath and walked over to the table, her heart heavy with anxiety. "Thanks for agreeing to meet me," Sophia said, her voice friendly. Evelyn sat down, her eyes locked on Sophia's face. "What did you want to talk about?" she asked, her voice firm. Sophia hesitated, her eyes darting around the coffee shop before focusing on Evelyn. "I know Jerry's been acting strange lately," she said, her voice low. "I think we need to talk about what's going on." Evelyn's eyes narrowed, her mind working overtime to process Sophia's words. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice cautious. Sophia leaned in, her voice barely audible over the hum of the coffee shop. "Jerry and we've been talking a lot lately. He's been coming to me for advice, and I've been trying to help him out." Evelyn's eyes locked on Sophia's face, her expression unreadable. "What kind of advice?" she asked, her voice tight with tension. Sophia's eyes met Evelyn's, and for a moment, they just stared at each other. Then Sophia spoke up, her voice measured. "I think Jerry's struggling with some personal issues. He's been feeling trapped in your relationship." Evelyn's face went cold, her mind reeling with the implications of Sophia's words. She didn't know what to say or do, but she knew she had to find out more. Evelyn's expression remained calm, but inside, she was reeling. Trapped in their relationship? What did Sophia mean by that? She leaned forward, her eyes locked on Sophia's. "What are you talking about?" Evelyn asked, her voice low and even. Sophia's expression was sympathetic. "Jerry feels like he's stuck, like he's not happy with the way things are going between you two. He's been confiding in me, and I've been trying to offer him some guidance." Evelyn's mind was spinning. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Jerry was unhappy in their relationship? Why hadn't he talked to her about it? "Why are you telling me this?" Evelyn asked, her voice firm. Sophia's expression turned serious. "I'm telling you this because I care about both of you. I don't want to see either of you get hurt, and I think it's better if you're aware of what's going on." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. She wasn't sure she believed Sophia's motives. Was Sophia just trying to stir up trouble, or was she genuinely concerned about Jerry's well-being? As they sat there in silence, Evelyn's phone buzzed with a text message from Jerry. "Hey, where are you?" he asked. Evelyn's heart sank. She didn't know what to do. Part of her wanted to confront Jerry about what Sophia had said, but another part of her wanted to gather more information before saying anything. "I need some time to think," Evelyn said finally, standing up. Sophia nodded, her expression understanding. "I understand. Take care of yourself, Evelyn." Evelyn left the coffee shop, her mind reeling with questions and doubts. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew she had to take some time to figure things out. Evelyn walked out of the coffee shop, her mind in turmoil. She didn't know what to believe or who to trust. As she walked down the street, she thought about what Sophia had said. Was Jerry really unhappy in their relationship? And why had he been confiding in Sophia instead of her? As she turned a corner, Evelyn's phone buzzed again. It was Jerry calling her this time. Evelyn hesitated for a moment before answering. "Hey, where are you?" Jerry asked, his voice cheerful. Evelyn took a deep breath, trying to compose herself. "I'm just out for a walk," she said, trying to sound casual. Jerry seemed to accept her explanation. "Okay, I'll see you at home then. I was thinking we could grab dinner together tonight." Evelyn's heart felt heavy. She didn't know if she was ready to face Jerry yet. "I'll see," she said, trying not to commit to anything. Jerry sensed something was wrong. "Is everything okay?" he asked, his voice concerned. Evelyn hesitated, unsure of what to say. She didn't want to confront Jerry about Sophia's claims just yet. "Yeah, everything's fine," she said, trying to reassure him. Jerry seemed to accept her answer. "Okay, I'll see you soon," he said before hanging up. Evelyn stood there for a moment, feeling lost and uncertain. She didn't know what to do next. Part of her wanted to confront Jerry about his feelings and Sophia's claims, while another part of her wanted to take some time to think and process everything. As she stood there, Evelyn realized she needed some space. She decided to go to her friend Rachel's place, hoping to get some clarity and support. She texted Rachel, asking if she could come over, and then set off towards her friend's apartment. Evelyn sat on Rachel's couch, pouring out her heart about everything that had happened. Rachel listened attentively, her expression sympathetic. "I don't know what to do, Rachel," Evelyn said, feeling frustrated and uncertain. "Part of me wants to confront Jerry about Sophia's claims, but another part of me is scared of what might happen." Rachel nodded understandingly. "It's a tough situation, Evelyn, but maybe it's time to have an honest conversation with Jerry. You need to know what's going on and how he really feels." Evelyn took a deep breath, considering Rachel's words. She knew her friend was right. She needed to talk to Jerry and get some answers. "You're right," Evelyn said finally. "I'll talk to him tonight. I just hope he's honest with me." Rachel nodded. "He should be. You deserve to know the truth." Evelyn felt a sense of determination wash over her. She was going to get to the bottom of things, no matter what. As she prepared to leave Rachel's apartment, Evelyn's friend handed her a small piece of paper. "What's this?" Evelyn asked, looking at the paper curiously. "It's the address of a mutual friend of Jerry's," Rachel said. "I overheard Jerry talking to him about Sophia. Maybe you can get some insight from him." Evelyn's eyes widened as she took the paper. She hadn't thought of talking to Jerry's friends, but it might be a good idea. She thanked Rachel and left the apartment, feeling more determined than ever to uncover the truth. Evelyn walked home, her mind racing with thoughts of the conversation she was going to have with Jerry. When she arrived, Jerry was cooking dinner in the kitchen. "Hey, how was your day?" Jerry asked, giving her a kiss on the cheek. Evelyn forced a smile, trying to act normal. "It was fine," she said, not wanting to reveal her true feelings just yet. As they ate dinner, Evelyn couldn't help but notice the way Jerry was looking at her. He seemed happy and carefree, but Evelyn knew that might be an act. After dinner, Evelyn decided it was time to confront Jerry. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice serious. Jerry looked at her curiously. "What's up?" he asked, putting down his fork. Evelyn took a deep breath. "I know about Sophia," she said, her voice firm. Jerry's expression changed, and he looked away. "What about Sophia?" he asked, trying to sound nonchalant. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "Don't play dumb, Jerry. I know you've been talking to her, and I know she's been saying things about our relationship." Jerry sighed, looking guilty. "Okay, fine. I've been talking to her. But it's not what you think." Evelyn's heart was pounding as she waited for Jerry to explain. "What is it then?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jerry looked at her, his eyes filled with a mix of guilt and uncertainty. "I'll tell you everything," he said, "but you have to promise to listen to me and not jump to conclusions." Evelyn nodded, her heart heavy with anticipation. She was ready to hear what Jerry had to say, but she wasn't sure if she was ready for the truth. Jerry took a deep breath and began to explain. "Sophia and I have been talking about our feelings and concerns. I have been feeling suffocated in our relationship, and I didn't know how to talk to you about it." Evelyn's eyes widened in shock. "Suffocated?" she repeated. Jerry nodded. "Yes, I feel like we've been growing apart, and I didn't know how to bridge the gap. Sophia and I have been talking about our shared interests and feelings, and it's made me realize what I've been missing in our relationship." Evelyn felt like she'd been punched in the gut. She had suspected that something was wrong, but she hadn't expected Jerry to admit to feeling suffocated in their relationship. "What does this mean for us?" Evelyn asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jerry looked at her, his eyes filled with sadness. "I don't know, Evelyn. I need some time to think about what I want and what's best for me." Evelyn felt a lump form in her throat. She knew that their relationship was at a crossroads, and she wasn't sure if they could find their way back to each other. "I need some time to think too," Evelyn said, her voice shaking. Jerry nodded, and they sat in silence for a moment, the tension between them palpable. As the night wore on, Evelyn realized that she had a choice to make. She could fight for their relationship, or she could let Jerry go. She wasn't sure what the future held, but she knew she had to take some time to figure out what she wanted. Evelyn and Jerry sat in silence, the uncertainty of their future hanging in the air. Now I turn to you, the viewers. What do you think Evelyn should do? Should she walk away? Comment your thoughts, And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories. Thank you for watching.